Hey everybody, it's Misha from EditStock. I'm going to start making these videos to show you a little bit better what's in the download of each one of these projects, just to give you a better idea of what some of the challenges are and kind of what your goals are as an editor. So this project that we have today is Bully. And Bully is actually the first project I got on EditStock outside of my own movie, which was Handicapped John, which was the first project to be on EditStock, which now feels like a million years ago. And if you want to watch the full cut of Bully, just stay tuned. At the end of the video, I will play the entire cut. So let's start with what Bully actually is. Bully is a spec commercial. And if you've never heard that term before, a spec commercial is a fake commercial made for a real product. Directors do that a lot of times if they want to get their name out there, or if they want to try to pitch an idea to the company that they're selling it for. So Bully is a commercial for Universal Studios' The King Kong ride, but obviously we can't sell it like that. So we've changed the credit in the commercial to, Monster Ride USA, to a fake company name. But for you, it's all the same difference when it comes to the editing. There's no Universal logos or anything anyway. Basically, the scene is about this guy, the bully, who picks on the kid, and he picks on him by running over his toy car. And let's see if we can... Yeah, so the kid is nicely playing in his driveway, and then all of a sudden King Kong comes along and steps on the car, and he crushes the bully's car as sort of payback for running over the kid's car. Here's what the download looks like. Bully is listed as a beginner project on EditStock. It's sort of my go-to project for beginners, actually. And the reason is it's 61 minutes of footage, which is not an overwhelming kill you amount of footage. In fact, a normal amount of footage that a film crew will shoot in a day is more like 2 to 4 hours of footage for scripted television. Of course, for reality, it can be 10 hours a day or more, but for single camera with a crew and a scripted show, 2-3 hours is normal. Sometimes on a very light show or with a big company move, you might get even a little less. So 61 minutes of footage means that a professional seasoned editor can probably edit this in 4 or 5 hours, and a newer editor can probably do it still in a day. With revisions, maybe a day and a half. So this is kind of perfect for a class, or perfect for someone at home who has very little editing experience, who might want to just sort of dip their toe in the water. Here's what you actually download. You download the Bully commercial folder. Inside you'll get paperwork. There's a welcome note. This explains how you can use EditStock footage. For example, it's okay to use this on your demo reel, but it's not okay to submit Bully to a film festival, for example. And just like we do all our projects, Bully includes the script, and it's only a 2-page script. So to give you an idea of how long your final cut should be, typically 1 page of script equals 1 minute of finished video. So here we have a 2-page script. You should expect this project your final cut to be between 90 seconds and 2 minutes. The way that professional commercials are edited, typically you'll film for 1 day, but then you'll cut various lengths, various durations of a project. So for example, you should be able to cut a 60-second version of this, a 90-second version of this, and a 120-second version of Bully. And I actually recommend doing that for everyone as sort of a challenge to themselves. In fact, oftentimes if I get a cut sent in and I don't have a lot of notes to give you an additional project to practice, I will usually encourage you to try to cut your project down to a minute, or at some ungodly speed like 45 seconds or something for Bully. You'd be amazed at how little of the story you can lose and still shoehorn your commercial into that amount of time. So okay, let's just talk about, since this is the first video of these that I'm doing, let's first, before we get to importing the media into Premiere, let's talk about what you actually get in these media folders. So you'll notice that each folder has a bunch of shots in it. Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, that's camera setup A, take 1. And camera setup A is a wide shot.
King Kong Lives, scene 1 apple, take 1. Mark.
And then, of course, it goes to 1.
Okay, camera rolling. Action.
So I've actually labeled that C, even though there was no slate, or maybe there's a tail slate. And notice we've got scene 1, take J. What's a little uncommon about this commercial is that typically you would want to slate these as different scenes. So scene 2, where we're looking at the bully's car.
Thought stinks.
The production actually labeled scene 1 still. And normally you would have a script, on the most professional shoots, you would have a script supervisor on hand who would look out for something like that, and you would actually line the script before you shoot to plot out what the scene numbers are going to be. But in this case, this is a pretty small crew, and they just didn't do that. So you'll notice, it's kind of funny, if you look down in scene 5, you'll notice shot AB, which means...
Watch the tire. Go across.
Roll camera. Rolling.
So shot AB actually means that they went through all the letters and started over again. So this is the 26th camera setup or 28th camera setup, something like that. Whereas really it should probably be scene 5, camera angle A, take 1 or something like that. You also notice in the download you get a folder with a visual effect, and as much as possible we try to give you all the completed visual effects that were done in the movie. Obviously, we didn't, the producer of this project didn't crush a BMW, right? So we give you the separate plates. Visual effect plate is an element that the production will shoot. So
Lock it up, camera's rolling.
Okay, I have it.
So this is the car not crushed. And then we have some broken pieces around the car. And we have some broken pieces by themselves. And,
Lock it up.
And then just the empty driveway. So these shots are all intended to be put together into a visual effect. Now, I know that that is incredibly difficult for someone who is new, or even for me, to do. Most editors would not make a complicated visual effect like this. You are certainly not expected to, which is why we include the final shot. That way you can just use this shot. You don't have to recreate it yourself. But at the same time, at EditStock, one of our goals is I'm always trying to give you the fullest version of the project that I can, the way that the editor would have got it in the room. And so for that reason, I'm giving you the plates, because you can practice putting this together as if you were new to editing. Of course, also included in the download is the EditStock credit logo. You should use this before or at the end of every project you make. This logo is included in every project you make. And the reason that we include this is because our filmmakers who contribute their movies, while they're happy to have you make an alternate cut and even use that alternate cut on your demo reel and post it on YouTube, they just don't want your cut to be confused with their cut, which is the official version. So even if your cut is better, which it has, I've seen cuts that are better than the final version of the film. But it's, again, just a way for the artist of the original artist to not feel like their work is being replaced, so to speak. But anyway, you're more than welcome to use this on your demo reel. In fact, we encourage it. Okay, just briefly, I'm going to talk about some of the challenges of editing Bully. One thing that you'll notice is that the audio, especially outside, isn't very good. It was really windy during production.
We speeding? Roll camera. Speed.
1 echo, take 5, Mark.
Hear that windiness? So for most of this project, you're going to need to find sound effects, which, though we don't include them in that download, on EditStock under the More tab, currently under the More tab, we've got this sound effects button. You can click here. You'll be able to find the sound effects that you're looking for here by switching to, for example, ambiance. Let's say we want to play this air conditioner sound. And if you want to download it, if you're using Chrome, you need to create an EditStock account, which is free, and then you will need to click the download button. If you are not using Chrome, if you're using Safari, for example, you'll need to right-click and say download linked file. And what you get out of that file is something like this. These are free. You can put them in any project. Doesn't have to be an EditStock project. We recorded them professionally. That said, our website does have some technical limitations that aren't going to be fixed anytime soon, at least not for, say, a year. So some of these things, like some of the search function, and this page is a little bit clumsy, but what's important is the sounds are free, and they're totally for you to use on any project. Okay, lastly, just going to talk briefly about importing this footage into Premiere. I know that for many of you, you're using Premiere. You're going to have a similar experience with Final Cut Pro, with iMovie, with any modern NLE. You'll have a little bit different experience if you're using Final Cut Pro 7. This will not work as well. I don't have Sony Vegas, so I'm not sure how this works. It works perfectly in Avid. But pretty much to import, you just want to grab this media folder, click, hold, drag it into Premiere. You'll see Premiere importing the files, and that's it. Literally that fast, you're ready to edit. I'm just going to change the name of the folder to Bully Footage, twirl it down, and grab any shot, drag down to creating a new sequence. And I like to put the sequence, of course, out of that folder into its own folder that I call SEQ with a dash so it floats to the top. Rename the sequence to something like Bully Rough Cut. Just want to show you a couple more challenges to the scene. You've got shots of the bully himself getting ready to run over the kid's car. And you're going to want to build a montage out of this. You know, you're going to really want to show this bully gearing up to run over the car. I like to call this moment make a meal out of it. That's just an editing term that a lot of directors have used with me, and I'm sure with many other editors, to just describe how to make this moment as big as possible when he runs over the car, when the bully runs over the car. See if I can find the shot of the bully running over the car. And then, of course, poor Avery, the kid actor, has such a hard time looking up into the sun. Ugh, I feel bad for him. What are you gonna do? Guys, this commercial is a lot of fun, and I recommend it to every class. There's no swearing, there's nothing controversial about it. Terrific intro to editing project. That's it for the bully commercial. Stay tuned at the end of this video, and I'm going to play the entire commercial if you want to watch it before you try cutting it. Happy cutting.
Sorry, kid. Gotta make room for the big boys.